Did you know that being cringe makes you successful? I mean, it's true. Just ask Sabrina Carpenter. Now. Let me just say I am a fan of Sabrina Carpenter. So take your impulsive little grimy Sabrina Carpenter staying hands off the keyboard before you comment some bullshit and listen to me. What I mean by cringe is not what you probably think it means. Cringe to me is the bravery to tap into the side of oneself that provokes extremist folks who hold black and white opinions, run their mouth about a certain person's lifestyle or personal presentation, and whether or not they classify it as right or wrong. And personally, I've come to a point in my life where I am pretty much unbothered by cringe, as long as said cringe is not hurting anyone. Like an example of harmful cringe would be that story behind the woman on TikTok who made a whole series about how she fell in love with her therapist, and she was getting affirmed by ChatGPT that he was secretly in love with her, and that he was just in deep denial, and it spiraled her into AI-induced psychosis. That's the kind of cringe that people should actually be bothered by. But if it's just something like a piece of creation where somebody is playing into an overblown stereotype of a caricature, where it's very clear that the seriousness behind it is zero, that's the kind of cringe I'm okay with and I low-key kind of support. And this cringe for Sabrina Carpenter is the hyper-feminine, love-crazed persona that she integrates into her music, that many women feel they've outgrown since transitioning from adolescence to womanhood. And this branding and image of, I'm just a girl, let a girl have her fun, that she projects to the public is what's made her a staying power in the music industry thus far. She brings out the hopeless romantic, girl with a desperate crush in her predominantly girls and women fan base. But on the flip side, there are certain unhealed individuals consumed with wounded feminine energy that like to call this branding and the nature of her songs as not being a girl's girl, pick me, or anti-feminist. See, you probably thought what I said about wounded feminine energy was cringe. But guess what? If you're human, you're cringe. We all have quirks, personality traits, desires, and embarrassing secrets that make us the hot mess we are. But different humans have varying levels of tolerance for how much or how often they show their cringe, which can lead to both praise and hate. People who have not made peace with their own cringy nature will deny and project their own insecurity about it onto people who are out and open about the same or similar kind of cringe. Like, for example, Hate, the toxic and unprovoked online criticism that Anne Hathaway receives for her gracious poise and well-spokenness. Now, granted, the term Hate was something trending back in the early 2010s, but I see it still going on today. Hate was an early social media trend from, I think, like 2011, 2012. I think it was 2012. It started around 2012 to 2013, and 2013 was the year that she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Les Mis. And a bunch of unnecessary negative comments online were just being spewed about her Oscar speech and just her being the general way that she is in the public eye. How she carried herself during the press tour of Les Mis was all deemed as dramatic, fake, and obnoxiously theater kid.
It came true. Oh. Thank you so much to the Academy for this and for nominating me with Helen Hunt, Jackie Weaver, Amy Adams, and Sally Field. I look up to you all so much, and it's just been such an honor. Thank you. There are so many people whose generosity and support is the reason that I'm standing here right now.
And just like I said before, if you look anywhere online and see what people are saying about her, when they're reacting to interviews of her or paparazzi videos, Hate is still holding up in the present day, even though it's no longer a trending hate train.
Yo, you're talking. Stop talking.
I know that there are children on set.
That's gotta relax.
I'm just gonna relax. We're gonna have a very nice day because we have children.
And as one might expect, one of the most common phrases that people like to describe Anne Hathaway's polished and utmost polite demeanor is cringe. And why would that be, you might ask? Because the people saying these things have no diplomacy and see having common courtesy as being weak, as you can tell by the nature of these comments made. The kind of behavior that makes my Libra moon agitated. And Anne Hathaway also has a Libra moon. She'd probably be agitated as well if she read those comments. If you don't know what I'm talking about by me saying my Libra moon and Anne Hathaway's Libra moon, then just go visit my Just Cosmic Witchy Things store. It'll all make sense. It's linked below in the description box. Back to the main point, and using Anne Hathaway as an example of this cringe projection. Even though she attracts such strong reactions from her so-called cringy fake niceness, it keeps fans and haters online in a constant loop of defense and criticism. When famous people run with an image or message that provokes such polarizing reactions from the public, that's how they stick in people's minds. Because people will either continue to defend their honor or spew shame and hate on them for not obeying their internal moral code of ethics. But jumping back to Sabrina Carpenter, with her new album Man's Best Friend out, I think it only makes sense to bring her most relevant piece of work into the conversation. It's pretty apparent to anyone who can see beyond appearances and actually take the time to listen to Man's Best Friend in its entirety that it's a post-breakup album that uses aesthetic and stylistic choices of the traditional woman, the type of woman who makes herself smaller to please and satisfy a man. An album that tells the story of a woman feeling small, insignificant, and unacknowledged by her partner, and the natural emotions and feelings that come along with being uncelebrated by the person who's supposed to be your biggest cheerleader. But the thing about this so-called boy crazy persona of hers that shows up in the themes of her music and her provocative costume choices is that it's meant to speak to a certain aspect of the woman existence. That childish, first love feelings that we yearn for in times of loneliness and feeling unloved. And just like Taylor Swift, the mothership for being called cringe for being boy crazy and dramatic. But not anymore because she's getting married. Didn't I fucking tell y'all? But anyway, this is the same shit that at least pre-engaged Taylor Swift got shit for. But the thing I love about artists like Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter is that they take what people proclaim are embarrassing about them and turn it into a brand. So all that yapping was just to say, if anyone has ever called you cringe and told you that you should be embarrassed for something about yourself because of a personality trait, a personal aesthetic, lifestyle, whatever it is for you, do with your life that makes you happy as long as it's not hurting nobody. Lean into it. Be cringe! The world is boring enough as it is. I'm being cringe for pursuing astrology professionally and including tangents about it here on my pop culture / commentary channel, whatever this channel is turning into. That's totally unrelated. Has nothing to do with the shit that I talk about on this channel. But lucky for me, I don't give a shit. I own whatever cringe I have because no one else can copy your cringe. And if they do, that's cringe copyright. But now it's your turn. Respectfully and positively, drop your name in the comments and tell me why you're cringe, especially if you're a subscriber or a good-natured frequent watcher. Because any engagement, whether it's a like, share, or comment, helps YouTube's algorithm push these videos to more people's For You pages and further helps this channel and its videos to reach the people that it needs to reach. So any positive actions of engagement you're willing to give is greatly appreciated. There's way too much negativity and trolls here on YouTube. And if you do choose to engage by commenting, please only do so with courtesy and goodwill, because I really do want this channel to be a safe and open space to chime into the conversation productively. So now that I'm done playing your elementary school guidance counselor, Ms. Walker, if you're not a subscriber yet and you like this video like this much, you can become a part of my emotional support coven by just so easily finding where it says subscribe on your screen and just magically tap it like this. Ding! And not only does every subscription put out a good vibe toward every witch in the universe, but you get to be notified with every single new video drop when you have your notifications turned on, that is. Thank you very much for watching. Much love to my emotional support coven, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!